Let's now bring onto the line the Premier spokesperson, Khuselwa Rantjie. A very good morning to you, Khuselwa. What can we expect from the Premier's visit this morning?
Good morning once again. The Premier is going to Port St. John's really to take a closer look at the damage that has occurred in that area, offer his support to the families that have been displaced due to their homes being destroyed by the storm, and also just bring immediate relief to some of the families that might be requiring food, clothing, and that type of kind of assistance. And also what we have also been informed is the fact that there is a family of a 12-year-old boy that died in during the floods last week. The boy drowned, and unfortunately he could not make it, and he will also be visiting that family, and we are informed that it is a family that would require some support from the municipality and government broadly to be able to put their loved one to his final resting place. And also, there's one of the things that came out in the report that we received from the disaster management personnel is the fact that other than those that have lost their lives in and around Port St. John's, there are also families that were affected in a way because of their loved ones who died in the KZN flood. So Premier will be visiting those type of families and bringing support from government, and also interacting with the various government organizations to make sure that we bring, as the provincial government, coordinated kind of support to all those that require support. There are people that have their homes that were destroyed by the floods, and also some of the schools in the main sanitation and water services have been disrupted due to the flooding.
Khuselwa, are you able to give us just a full provincial picture in terms of the effects of the floods?
In the Eastern Cape, mainly the areas that have been affected include Joka, the district municipalities in that area, the Sengu local municipality, where we getting reports that about 24 people have been are now homeless due to the floods, and also if you look at the OR Tambo area, other than your Port St. John's in OR Tambo, there are families affected in KSD, in Muza, Mhlonhla, Nyandeni, and Port St. John's. In total, also in the Alfredo area, Matatiela in the main is affected, and in total, there are about 285 people that have been left homeless by these floods, and about 384 structures that have been partially destroyed. We are reporting also challenges in terms of road infrastructure. Some of the roads have been badly damaged, as well as the bridges in all these areas, and the Department of Transport in the province has moved in to make sure that they create access in some of the areas that have been that are currently inaccessible, and also there is some damage in the main leakages in the roofs within our primary health infrastructure in the 3 district municipalities that I have mentioned. I think one of the issues that has to be attended to immediately is a situation where we're finding that in most of our schools, the sanitation has been affected, water services have been affected, and the Premier has over the weekend instructed that immediate interventions be given so that when the learners go back to school tomorrow, at least they can be able to have areas where they will relieve themselves. And the Department of Water and Sanitation has come on board in terms of bringing tankered water in some of those communities that are affected, as well as institutions like the schools and health facilities.
So, just in the case of mopping up operations, what's happening in the Eastern Cape?
We are busy cleaning up the areas that have been affected. You would understand that Port St. John's, other than just it being an area that where residents are residing, it is also a tourist attraction. So immediate interventions in making sure that the area around the beach is cleaned up again, and so that people are able to visit the area, tourists are able to visit, and communities are able to go back to their normal lives. It has been important that government brings that kind of support, clearing the roads, making sure that there is access to social as well as economic infrastructure around all our municipalities. And as government, I think it's important that we once again really request communities that we remain on high alert, especially those that are staying in the low-lying areas, because we have received reports already of warnings from the South African Weather Services to say that as of from tomorrow up until around Thursday, the rain will be coming back. So it is critical that we use this time when we're seeing a bit of sunshine to clean up our schools, to clean up our roads, and make sure that we are able to access them, and also use this time, because in the last week it has been difficult to reach some of the families. So we also using this time to reach some of those families that it has been difficult to reach and offer them all the relevant support. And some families where their homes have been totally destroyed will be moved into temporary shelter in the meantime until other arrangements are made for them to go back to their homes. But one of the key issues that government in the province is really focusing on is to engage communities, especially those that are living in risky areas, to come to an agreement in terms of moving them to better areas, because we know that there are areas that are constantly affected by floods, and whenever there are floods in the province. And as you can see now, they're coming back to back. In January, we were facing the same situation, and now in April, we are still talking about floods, and some of the areas have been repeatedly hit. So I think it is necessary that government, together with the communities, reach some agreement in terms of moving some of the communities, and also in terms of coming up with other measures to make sure that in the future, when we are hit by such, we are able to respond better as individuals, as communities, as also on the side of government.
Khuselwa, I want to stretch you a bit on the issue of tourism. Eastern Cape has two types of tourists. They have a leisure tourist and people who are coming back home. As we come out of the Easter holidays, are you able to give us some sort of early measurement in terms of the impacts of these floods on this movement of people coming home during the Easters and people coming through for leisure tourism during the Easters?
Yes, there has been a negative impact. I think it was on Friday when the Department of Transport reported a major accident along the N2, which when you look at it, I think it was around the 12th, where 4 vehicles were involved in an accident and leaving about 2 people dead. So it does have an impact on tourism, and also we've noted that the number of people moving around the province had dropped a little bit than what we are used to in previous years. We also had an experience where about 17 tourists from Johannesburg were stranded in Lusisiki when one of the bridges there was flooded, and fortunately government was able to evacuate them safely to their homes. So it's situations like that. It becomes, I would think that it becomes a little bit discouraging when tourists are hearing these kinds of reports, and it has an impact in terms of the economy of the province. You would understand that including other provinces, we are also in a situation where we are still trying to recover from the impact of COVID-19, which had also negatively impacted the movement of people across the province. So it's necessary that we speedily attend to our issues in terms of road infrastructure and make sure that we are again opening our province, our shores to tourists to come to the Eastern Cape.
Khuselwa Rantjie, thank you so much for talking to us. Khuselwa Rantjie is the spokesperson for the Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane, who's embarking on a post-flooding damage assessment visit in the Port St. John's local municipality.